Oh, are we supposed to?
Yes, we're supposed to wave because we're here watching.
Like this?
Good afternoon. Today I'm going to try to persuade you to petition the Surgeon General to encourage him to make smoking cigarettes illegal. I know you may think that that is a bit extreme, making cigarettes illegal, but it would go a long ways in improving the health of the United States. Acetone, acetic acid, ammonia, arsenic, benzene, butane, cadmium, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, hexamine, lead, naphthalene, methanol, nicotine, tar, and toluene. What, you may ask, are those? Those are the ingredients in cigarettes. These items range from ingredients found in battery acid, rocket fuel, nail polish remover, gasoline, rat poisoning, and embalming fluid. The list could go on, but the biggest thing is these ingredients can be found in your cigarettes. According to the American Lung Association, an estimated 34.3 Americans smoke cigarettes. Every one of us at some point in our lives, whether we smoke or know somebody that smokes or cross somebody that's smoking, will come in contact with cigarette smoke. I am a former smoker. I've had several of my family members affected by smoking. And I'm also a nurse that has taken care of numerous people that have dealt with cigarette-related diseases. What are the effects of cigarette smoking? I will educate you on some of the diseases of cigarette smoking causes and the average cost of health care in the person that smokes or the person that is receiving secondhand smoke. Now that you know what is in a cigarette, let's take a look at some of the effects from smoking cigarette. There are no health benefits from smoking. People may think that it relaxes them, but it does not. In fact, it raises your heart rate and your blood pressure. That doesn't sound like you're relaxing. According to the CDC, more than 16 million Americans are living with a disease associated with cigarettes smoking. For every person that dies because of cigarette smoking, at least 30 people live with a serious disease related to cigarette smoking. Worldwide, tobacco causes more than 7 million deaths per year. The American Cancer Society states that cigarette smoking affects your risk of the following cancers: mouth, larynx, pharynx, pancreas, stomach, colon, rectum, and myeloid leukemia. You may ask, how does smoking a cigarette affect my cervix, my rectum, my colon? The purpose of the lungs is to oxygenate the blood, exchange the carbon dioxide with oxygen. When you inhale a cigarette, all those chemicals are then in your lungs and then travel through your blood to these organs, thus exposing your other organs to the chemicals found in the cigarettes. Aside from cancer, cigarette smoking also causes lung disease, the lung disease COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema. There is no cure for COPD, and the risk of COPD goes up the more you smoke and the longer you smoke. And it is the third leading cause of deaths in the United States. Chronic bronchitis is a disease in which airways make up too much mucus, causing the person to cough. The airways become inflamed, and the cough becomes chronic. Emphysema is another type of COPD that slowly destroys a person's ability to breathe. In a non-diseased lung, the lung contains millions of air sacs that helps oxygenate the blood. With emphysema, the walls between the sacs begin to break down, causing the sacs to become larger. Thus, the sacs then lowers the amount of the oxygen that is that goes into the blood and reaches the other organs. Smoking also damages your cardiovascular system. It increases your risk of heart disease, stroke. Smoking also lowers your ability to exercise and makes your blood thicker and causes it to clot more. It also increases your risk of peripheral artery disease, where plaque builds up in the arteries and carries blood to the head, organs, extremities. This increases your risk of heart disease, heart attack, and stroke. Not all health problems related to cigarette smoking results in death. Smoking can also cause gum disease, takes wounds longer to heal, decreases your immune system, increases your risk of diabetes, ages your skin faster, bad breath, and stained teeth. You also have lower bone density, causing an increased risk for fractures, and you also have an increased risk of peptic ulcers. Secondhand smoking is also a major concern with cigarette smoking. According to smokefree.gov, secondhand smoking is dangerous to anyone that breathes in the air around a smoker. Whenever a smoker breathes and exhales, the smoke from the cigarette stays in the air for hours. So anyone that passes by that area, that person, you're exposed to secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoking can have some of the same health effects on someone that does not smoke as someone that smokes. In children, it can cause bronchitis, pneumonia, and ear infections. It also increases the risk of SIDS. With all this being said, I have several experiences with lung-related issues from cigarette smoking. My grandfather died from lung cancer. He started smoking when he was 5. When you lay awake at night watching him suffer related to cigarette smoking, it is one of the hardest things you have to watch. Then my mother-in-law died at the age of 54 from emphysema. I watched this woman that was able to do things, not be able to breathe. She was confused related to the lack of oxygen going to her brain. My father-in-law died at the age of 58. Another one of the hardest things I had to watch was my 10-year-old son on his knees next to his bed telling his papa it was okay, that he could be comfortable and go because he would be all right. My father had a stroke at the age of 50. He was a 1 to 2 pack a day smoker. So now he's got permanent paralysis to his right side. He's unable to carry on a conversation. My ex-husband had a massive heart attack at the age of 43. He is also a 1 to 2 pack a day smoker. He coded 5 times and miraculously lived. But my children were there to watch their dad be carted off in life flight. All of this because of smoking. How do we control these health effects of cigarette smoking? In order to get rid of the diseases plagued so many Americans and others nationwide, we need to get rid of cigarettes. Total economic cost of smoking is more than $300 billion a year. Nearly $170 billion in direct medical care for adults, and more than $156 billion related to premature death and loss of productivity due to illness and exposure to secondhand smoke, according to the CDC. Many people say that the reason they keep smoking cigarettes is because they keep cigarettes legal is because of the revenue that the government makes from the taxes from the cigarettes. If cigarettes were made illegal, the government would actually break even, if not earn more money. In 2015, according to tobaccopolicycenters.gov, the government made $18.17 million on cigarette taxes. But then the cost, again, was $300 billion in health care for those people. If we didn't have to pay for the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security of people that were smoking cigarettes, we would be more money ahead. A lot of money has gone into smoking cessation, advertising, and education. The ill effects of smoking, and more needs to be done. What happens if cigarettes are not illegal? According to the Office of Surgeon General, since the first Surgeon General's report on smoking, the Health was published 50 years ago, more than 20 million Americans have died because of cigarette smoking. Many more people will be plagued with smoking-related health problems. The cost of health care will continue to rise because of the cost of treating individuals with cigarette-related diseases. Many children will become sick, and increased incidence of SIDS will continue to increase. As you see, the effects of cigarette smoking is very alarming. If there were prescription drugs out on the market that caused all of these health problems, it would be made illegal. They would not be available. Please petition the Surgeon General's office and encourage him to push to have cigarettes illegal. The Office of Surgeon General at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at 200 Independence Avenue, Washington, D.C., 20201. You have heard the effects of cigarette smoking, as well as the cost of treating those who suffer from cigarette-related diseases. It is clear that there is no benefits from cigarette smoking, and it is very detrimental to those who smoke, as well as our nation. As stated by the CDC, cigarette smoking is the reason for more than 480,000 deaths per year in the United States, including more than 41,000 deaths resulting from secondhand smoke exposure. This is about 1 in 5 deaths, usually, annually, or 1,300 deaths per day. Let's make smoking illegal.